Everyday superpower. We talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. Yo, the topic for today is be aware. Be conscious of these two words. There's many a word you have to pay attention to, but these two in particular stood out to me as of recent. One being free, and one being cheap. Pay attention. Nothing is free. And any business, any individual that gives something for free is wanting something in return. There is always a transaction of energy at the very least, at the very baseline of this dealing. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong. Your friend could say, here's something for free. I'm clearing out my house. I'm sick of having this stuff around. It's cluttering, right? Completely understandable. Not a bad problem at all. Maybe you have the leverage in that particular situation, but understand that there is a hidden obligation for you to pay it back through one means or another in the future. Okay? There is a unconscious transactional energy that runs through the act of giving something for free. Okay? I was at a dinner at a restaurant, with a bunch of people. Someone who I don't know too well, to the point where I couldn't necessarily. It wouldn't be right for me to say no. If anything, it would create conflict. Wanted to pay for everybody's food and whatnot. Everybody else was completely fine with it. I would ostracize myself by saying no and whatnot. It would have just been awkward. But with them paying for the food and the drinks and so forth, some may find that good. Oh, I've saved some money. Oh, this is great. Now, a lot of people, and why wouldn't this be the case, right? A lot of people now have to say thank you. Even though it wasn't, they were intended on buying their own stuff anyway. Now they have to say thank you. Now they have to be in submittance and relay a degree of their own energy in response to that person purely for them buying the food and whatnot. Now, I would enjoy my food and drink a lot more knowing that I have purchased it myself, because what I have spent my hard-earned money on creates value through my psychology, through everyone's psychology. That's why you'll go to the shops and some t-shirts, even though they are of the same quality as others, will cost more, even if they are like well-known brands or not. Some of them just quite simply will cost more, and we associate that with value, right? And we purchase it purely for the price tag, which sounds incredibly self-destructive, right? But we have such an energy attached to these numerics. You can understand where there's a little bit of a shady line and a little more of an open space for maneuverability in the realm of free products. Be wary of free. When you're on the internet and somebody tells you that they have a free course to give you, it's not free, because you'll be giving them your email address, your name, and onwards and so forth, so they can continue to market you. Yeah. When I say have a free test drive, when I say have a free property viewing, have a free 3-day session at the gym, yeah, it's so I can sell you a product. It's so I can market and manipulate you, because now it's transactional. And at the very least, unconsciously, you feel you have to reciprocate what I have given you. So be very wary of the word free. Now, just back so I can re-clarify, as far as a person buying a whole table, drinks and food and so on and so forth. Yeah, you can say thanks and be thankful and think, oh, I've saved a couple of quid. But at the end of the day, knowing that's going to happen, how comfortable am I going to be drinking that drink now? knowing that it's not mine, knowing that someone else has got ownership. What if I'm being judged for pouring myself another drink now? It comes with issues and problems, so you can't go forth and just take things for free purely for the sake of them being free, because they come with hidden obligations. So let's have a quick talk about the word cheap, yeah? Oh, that's cheap. There's such a negative connotation to the word cheap. Being cheap isn't a good thing. Being affordable might be a little more lenient, but to be cheap is to be cheap. Oh, that's cheap. Oh, that's the cheap version. It's always lesser than. Yeah? There's nothing wrong with quite literally purchasing a cheap product if it's a case of its value outweighing the, financial cost. Then that's a good find. That's a good steal, essentially. But the word itself isn't to be used. If you're to talk about anything you've purchased, if you're to talk about anything you're selling, stay away from the word cheap, because it paints a negative picture in the mind of that other person. Oh, I've got a painting to sell you. It's okay, it's cheap. What do you mean cheap? I only associate the word cheap with knockoff gear and bad food and things that are marketed as being lesser than the leading brands and the higher fashion and the higher designer and so on and so forth. Yeah? So it all comes with an energy and a connotation. Don't ever use the word cheap to describe anything. Yeah? To say somebody is cheap is to say they're stingy. Yeah? Imagine if, I only get onto this purely as we're speaking on cheapness in relation to people. That person's cheap. Let's say, for example, it's business, right? A sex worker, yeah? Because you can get high-end escorts who go around with really rich people to look good on their arm, yeah? For like visiting restaurants and social gatherings and events and stuff. They cost a lot of money because they have a market and they have a value attached to them. Imagine if you were putting your vagina on the market for a cheap price. What does that make you? That makes you cheap. That makes your entity cheap. That makes your person as a whole cheap. You don't want to be associated with that energy, whether you're in that field, whether you're in sales, whether you're in brand, any degree of branding. It should never be the case. And you shouldn't think you're going to be more successful. Let's just take it into the realms of sales and so forth. You shouldn't feel that you're going to be any more successful with a product giving you undercut your competition, because there will be a unconscious correlation with you being cheap for a reason. Well, there's obviously a reason why it costs so little to buy that product, to get trained by that person, to take a course off of that person. Yeah? Whereas when all of these like online gurus and entrepreneurial types on YouTube and so forth sell you, I don't think I've bought anything worth commenting on as far as like courses are concerned, but you'll see them and they'll be selling them for more than $1,000 each. And you're thinking, wow, that much for something I'm not really too clued up on. I wonder what's in there. At least it spurs your curiosity, right? So then you have a little look. They get traffic. They may take your contact details to market to you. But a lot of people will see that and think, wow, it must cost that for a reason. Yeah? So that was just a little ramble on the word free and cheap and the energy and the, the transactional analysis of people when it comes to them two particular words. Yeah, we could definitely philosophize on this for some time, but I'm just going to leave that one there. Peace.